I think there's a really interesting angle. You've referenced about the leadership at JLL. You also referenced very early on that you came into sort of JLL Asia Pacific through a workplace move, and then through you being outspoken and you doing series of email newsletters. They realized there was a need for the sorts of insights that you were bringing into the more sort of wider and broader JLL community. So, but I'm also very aware that you're a team of one. You're not like a normal sort of innovation leadership team that perhaps I've had on this discussions previously. So I'm really interested in terms of understanding how have you or your leadership team developed this innovation prop tech strategy, and how is it deployed, and who leads on it, and that sort of information within Asia Pac?
Yeah, I think while I haven't necessarily, again, the nature of my job changed quite a bit as JLL Technologies sort of rolled out and developed, matured. But I want to point to a program that we did that actually didn't originate from me. I was just a very active participant in it, that I found was incredibly effective. Our Asia Learning and Development team developed what they called a techathon, not a hackathon, right? Hackathons tend to be these very firework, corporate sloganism type of exercises. Hey, everyone come in, don't have to sit at your desk. You guys are going to team build. There's going to be sandwiches, and you're going to come up with a great idea and present it. And then that'll be the last we hear, right? There might be an email that goes out. This is not what I'm talking about. What the techathon was, and my cynical ass actually sat through one of the first techathon sessions and was like, just basically rolling my eyes, like, why are we doing this? Like, basically what it was your team could pick 2 of 4 exercises, build a web scraper, do some geocaching. I don't remember exactly what the other ones were. But I just was like, I participated, but hardly. And then a friend of mine within the company, I was kind of just whinging about it. And he was like, that's not for you. That's for people who are less comfortable with technologies. And it sent it. I needed that moment of clarity. But it really ended up being this powerful thing where we made people comfortable with the notion. When we say we are turning into a technology firm for the industry, that doesn't mean we want you to be software engineers. We don't need you to forge the tools. We need you to be comfortable using them and talking about them. And so that really helped. When I talk about that strategic mission and what leadership ultimately is, again, you can't educate a workforce as big as ours. You just cannot do it. But you can inspire them by letting them get their hands dirty in this way. So not only did we put together this session, we actually then had a video submission contest for people to submit because we have 90,000 people in JLL. What most people don't know is 42,000 of them are in Asia. I mean, our workforce is huge in Asia. Yeah. So I think that's part of why people power is so important to me, right? We have this huge workforce. There is power in those numbers if we turn them into data harvesters, right? But what we did was we had a video submission contest where people could basically give an audition video, and we flew, I think, 30 of my colleagues from all around the Asia Pacific region, so 15 geographies, flew them all into Singapore. And those of us involved with the leadership portion of PropTech, whether it's our executive board or some of the other leaders and myself, who was fairly new in the role at the time, we put them through like a 3-day course, including things like we had a pub quiz night and things like that. But we trained the trainers essentially and then sent them back out. A year later, we had 3,000 of our colleagues had gone through these techathon sessions. And that leads to kinds of conversations like the one my friend had with me. Hey, when someone else is complaining, I don't want to be a tech company, this is stupid. But no, actually, this is really cool. We did this thing, right? We built a chatbot in 20 minutes, right? That, I mean, to me, like, I'll always point to that as something that was just a phenomenal way to inspire and lead our workforce. And those techathons still go on today. They're actually starting to pick back up now that now that in most places we're not under such restrictions.
Most we'll do that. Most in inverted commas. And so you're using those techathons and the sort of the all hands type concept of helping you drive. This is what I'm intrigued by, because you said something I didn't expect, to drive tech adoption, or is it to continue that familiarity with that transformation journey that JLL are going to support customers on, and making your employees more comfortable? Which is the priority on those sorts of initiatives?
It's making employees more comfortable, right? Like it absolutely, like, in an organization as big as ours, like, I don't care if you're the CEO or anybody else. You rule with an iron fist, and people just go out the door to the next place, right? It is coalition building, not consensus building, but coalition building is the key to good transformation, right? People like to use the container ship metaphor that, like, oh, a small course correction sets us an entirely different path. I like a Viking ship, right? Everyone's rowing, right? And the more people we can get to row even slightly in the direction that we want to go, that's how you do it. Like, great transformation is coalition building, and it is empowering people. Like, the whole conversation of future of work that dominates our industry, really just dominates the entire work conversation, is really just this white collar angst, right? And so we need to put that angst at ease. And the way that you do that is, like, I think there's some really great explorations going on around AI now. AI is not going to replace our jobs anytime soon. It's going to change how we do them. Our mutual friend Daryl is doing amazing prompts with AI and DALL-E, and creating these amazing pieces of art. And he'll tell you, I'm not an artist. He's making amazing art with DALL-E. And I think that goes back to reset your own internal configuration, adopt these new tools, but these are tools of superpowers. I like to say that, these new AI tools are more like Microsoft Clippy than they are like Skynet, right? Yeah. They're a better version of Clippy. How can I make this faster to be done for you? And yeah, it's an exciting time, but you got to get people comfortable with it.
You have, and I'm just going to reference your point about AI art there. I mean, I've seen some of the people produce art, which is amazing, with prompts which are so broad, it's incredible. My art still manages to be shocking. I still can't get even an AI to make my ideas seem even remotely plausible. But I'll send you.
There's actually a really great. Someone has created a template for prompts, so that, like, it's a bunch of drop downs. So you could be like this, and this, and even then. So this is what I talk about. We evolve as collaborators, right? So how old are these tools? They're not that old. And then someone else has made something that helps people make a prompt. One of the things I've been banging the drum a lot about on social media is I hate the term metaverse, right? And I hate it. I know why I hate it. I hate it because I'm a lifelong gamer, and it feels like the whole idea of gaming worlds has been co-opted. To serve, like, what people think is the next big thing. And they're not actually building a better thing. But the reason I think it's a bad term, and Tim Cook said something to this effect very recently, is it's not making it accessible. Smartphones existed before the iPhone, but Apple made it easy enough that my mom can use it. My mom doesn't use it well. When she FaceTimes me, I get a up-close picture of her ear every time because she still uses it like a phone. But Apple has made devices so easy that it's accessible. And then on the other, so much of this metaverse conversation is dominated by mysticism, right? Or obfuscation. So back to your point about WeWork, it was a lot of, this is just a different version of digital smoke and mirrors. And, that's not how effective transformation happens at a macro level, at an organizational level, or even at a team level. It's coalition building.
And to summarize, you said it's coalition building, not what building?
Consensus building. So,
Consensus building.
And the reason I say it's not consensus building is consensus building tends to force regression to the mean. You don't want to say, okay, how many people can we get to agree, right? My house we're a family of 2 in my house, and just getting myself and my girlfriend to agree what to have for dinner ends up being a full exercise. So when you extrapolate that to bigger numbers, when you start to try to just consensus build, even at a board level, right? So even executive boards, when you're consensus building, it's a tendency towards the safest, most known route, and that's antithetical to good, effective innovation. You want a coalition build, get people to come along on the journey. Again, read the book Switch. They really frame this up nicely. And I actually read that book probably once a year at least, just to sort of refresh myself. Hey, these are some core tenets to affect real change at scale.